A lot of times during my consultations, and I really pride myself on being very upfront with patients and being very honest. People come to me because they know, and I've gained the reputation of being very honest with my patients, telling them exactly what I think that they need, whether it's what they want to hear or not. And one of the questions I usually see is, one of the main complaints I should say is, doc, over the last 10 years or 5 years or even sometimes the last few years, the folds around my mouth, and they're getting deeper, and I'm starting to get deeper creases at the corners of my mouth, or these things over here, they're starting to sag down, and the upper part of my neck is starting to see these lines in my neck, or I don't like this so-called turkey goblet. And the great thing about it is when I hear these complaints, I know, you're a great candidate for the SmartLift immediately. And I tell them, and when I show them in the mirror, what is possible, they just perk up and they love hearing it. The wonderful thing about this procedure is that not only have I decreased the surgery time that it takes to do a traditional facelift. So something like this is usually done in, about an hour and a half or so. But people really love that aspect as well. But one of the great things about the SmartLift is that all these problem areas around the jowls and the deeper lines in our mouth is sort of, I'm able to use people's anatomy. And what I do is I'm able to move the anatomy back into the position where it used to be. If we were able to take a picture of us standing upside down, we would see that gravity is actually a real big part of how we age. The skin thins, we lose collagen, we lose water, and then our skeleton doesn't change. So it just sort of starts to hang on a skeleton that used to be plump. So once we replace the anatomy into its normal position, people see this during the consultation as I move their facial structures around, and they love it. They love the way it looks. And the thing that's so wonderful about this procedure is that if you're worried about your jawline or the jowls or the corners of your mouth or the upper part of your neck, the so-called turkey goblet, this procedure is great for that, because we're able to move the anatomy in such a direction that it recreates things that where it was 10, 15 years ago, and create that youthful, strong jawline that everyone loves to have and that we sometimes lose as we age. Sort of starts to blend with our neck and our face, and we sort of lose that crisp jawline that's so aesthetic. And the wonderful thing about this procedure is that we regain it, we recapture that jawline. And that's one of the things that people love. The thing that's also wonderful is that I've noticed in that moving the anatomy to a more normal and natural position, it creates a more fullness in our cheeks. And that's something that also is one of the things that's great about the SmartLift, because as we age, we sort of get sunken in underneath our cheekbones, because all that skin starts to fall down, and it sort of falls down right on these folds around our nose. So what the SmartLift does is it actually reapproximates the tissues and the anatomy to the normal position, which should be just underneath the cheekbones. And people see a more fuller appearance afterwards, and they love that. So, people, as we age, you may have started out when you were young with a nice heart-shaped face, and now that you're in your 60s, you have a square face. The great thing about the SmartLift is that when we reapproximate the tissues into a more natural position, you'll regain that nice round fullness in your face again. Now, of course, it's all particular for everyone's anatomy and where you started from. I can't change someone's face completely. This isn't the witness protection program, but on the other hand, I can help you regain the youthful appearance that you had maybe 10 to 15 years ago. And that's really all what people really want. They say, I'm okay with growing old, but I'm active. I love being out there. I love dancing and going out. All I'm looking for is to just look my age. And I don't want to look like an old person when I feel like a young kid inside. And people, that's what I hear all the time. And, it gives me great pleasure to be able to give people that youthful appearance that they had, because it transforms them. And it really turns people who are sort of shy and sort of reticent to being more outgoing and happy. And they're not afraid to go out, in public or go to, large meetings anymore. So that's one of the ways that I really find great happiness in providing this service for people.